Hey guys, it's Sophie from GAINSBYBRAINS and welcome to today's video. In this video I'll be showing you a typical leg workout for me, especially when it's a bit more focused on building my glutes. I just finished with the workout, which is why I am looking like this, but it's a sign that it was a good workout. I always start with a warming up, so I started with some general light cardiovascular activity. Usually when I'm doing a leg workout, I start with the stationary bike, just because it really helps me with warming up my knees and warming up my hips, and then I move on to dynamic stretching. Dynamic stretching is when you're going through the range of motion. There's a difference between dynamic stretching and static stretching, and I never stretch statically before doing a workout in general. Always make sure that you are pretty well warmed up before doing static stretching. So what I usually do is dynamic stretching before the workout, and then I end with some static stretching, and that is where you hold a certain position for a certain amount of time. So you want to find that place where it feels kind of uncomfortable but not painful. So I always do that after the workout, not before. The dynamic stretching really helps me with opening up my hips, for example, and after doing some dynamic stretches I usually move on to the exercise that I'm planning on doing, and then I do some warm-up sets. Today I started with the heavy squats, and I first did a few warm-up sets. I think I did 3 or 4, so I always just start without the bar, then I move on with the bar, and then I slowly add some weight until I'm at the weight that I want to perform the exercise with. For my leg day, and especially when I'm trying to focus on building my glutes, I always incorporate different types of movement. So I always incorporate a vertical movement and also a horizontal movement, and then I usually end with some isolation work. Today I started with the heavy squats, which is the vertical movement, and then I moved on to the hip thrust, which is the horizontal movement. I also always make sure that I include a variety of rep ranges whenever I'm training my legs or whenever I'm training in general. If your goal is to build strength, then you want to make sure that you are in the lower rep ranges. If your goal is to build muscle mass, you want to be in the medium rep ranges. And if your goal is muscle endurance, then you want to be in the higher rep ranges. So what I always do is I include a mixture between both the lower rep ranges and the medium rep ranges. And the reason why I do that is because in order to build your muscles, you need to make sure that you make them work harder than they are used to. You need to progressively overload them. But in order to allow them to work harder than they are used to, they need to become stronger. So that is why I also always focus on building strength, even though my goal is to build my glutes, which is why you would want to be in the hypertrophy range. So I started with the heavy squat, which is a really good overall movement for your lower body. And like I said, I did some heavy squats, so in the lower rep ranges, with the goal of bringing up my strength. So for my first exercise, I'm doing heavy squats, and I am doing 5 sets in total with 3 reps each set. After the squat, I moved on to the hip thrust, and for the hip thrust I made sure to decrease my reps per set, and whenever I do that I always make sure to increase the weight that I'm using. So I started with 10 reps, then I moved on to 8 reps, and I increased the weight with about 10 to 20%, and then I did 6 reps, and I again increased my weight with 10 to 20%. So for my hamstrings, I always try to incorporate both a deadlift kind of movement and also a leg curl kind of movement, so that I target the hamstrings both from the knee with the leg curl and from the hip with the deadlift. And for the hamstrings, I perform the exercises in the 12 rep range approximately. Then I moved on to the hip abduction, and what I usually do is 3 or 4 sets, and then for the last set I perform 12 to 15 reps, and then I drop the weight with approximately 30%, and then I squeeze 6 more reps. And then usually with the last rep I try to hold it. I also do that with the hip thrust to really feel that burn in your glutes. And then I did some calf raises because I always try to make an effort to train my calves. I really think that that gives a really nice look to your lower body, to your lower legs. So even if you're a girl, make sure to train your calves. And what I did 15 reps, 4 sets of the seated calf raise. And with the calf raise, I always make sure to hold it at the top of the movement for 1 or 2 seconds before going down again. And you want to go down below parallel to really stretch out that muscle. So that was my leg workout with a focus on my glutes. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, that it was helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a like and to leave a comment down below because I really enjoy reading your comments. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you will never miss any of my uploads ever again. Thank you so much for watching.